Hey, what's up, everybody? We got our weekly close. This candle right here, you can see we back tested, right? So we had our swing high back over here in January. We pulled back, we came up, we had a weekly engulfing candle that broke us completely out of this prior high over here. And then you can see this candle right here, you can see the wick right there, completely back testing the top of that order block over there. So basically back testing the weekly close, right? So, and we closed above, right? So as long as we continue to close weekly candles above this black line, above $3, we are in good shape. Now you can see this candle here starting to come down, and that is typical, right? For, Sundays and Mondays are kind of actually, Sunday wasn't too bad yesterday, but you can see today we definitely are down 5% or so, roughly 5%. So let's look at that. Let's zoom in here to the daily, and really nothing's there too much. I mean, let's look closer. So again, we had this running flat. We broke completely out. We had a three-wave move back down. We had a double bottom here that back tested that $3 area, right? And then we sort of had this little three-wave move up, and now we're pulling back. So what does that mean? Well, it just means we are consolidating on top of this base. So first of all, let's talk about the Elliott wave, and then we'll talk just standard. So, what are the options here? Well, the first option is that this is an expanded flat. This is like a 1-2, and now we're just kind of consolidating in here, and we're building a little bit of a base on top of our line, and then eventually we're going to come out, get to the retrace levels, and then flag out, and then continue breaking out. So that's idea number one, basically just continuing our ascent. Option number two is that same thing, we have a three-way move down, and now this right here is a three-way move up, but it could be three down, and it could be a bigger three. It could basically be this kind of the same size here, right, where we have three waves up, and then you come back down in three, and then you go up, and that becomes a bigger three, right? There's your three-wave move now, and that could take different shapes and sizes, but essentially those are the two main ideas. Now the other option is that we have a much bigger correction coming, much bigger, meaning this is 1, 2, this is 3, this is 4, and now we're coming down for 5. And that whole thing is A. And then we go all the way back up in B, and then we come all the way back down in C, and then we go up. And that would totally suck really bad. But it's totally possible. It's totally possible, but so how do you know that's coming? Well, we don't want to break the low. As long as we hold this, if we start breaking that, then we have one more chance at it being still A, B, 1, 2, 3, and then this is 4, and then this is 5, right? And so it'd be A, B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah, C, not A. What am I talking about? So that would be an ABC right there. This being your C leg, AB. So, and then we continue, right? So, but so far, bearishly speaking, you know, we have this three-way move here. So that right there, just in itself, is bearish, right? So what do we want? What do we need to see here? Well, let's zoom in. So another thing as well, you could see we're also just ranging, right? So just kind of speaking on that for a minute, you know, you could see clearly a three-wave move here, right? So if that's 3 waves up, then we could get 3 waves down, right? Something like that, right? Before you get 5 waves up, and then that becomes your bigger 3. That equals this 3-way move. So also you could see, if we look closer, we could see that, you know, we kind of had this, we had this bullish divergence here, we had a double bottom, we pumped up here, we started consolidating, we broke out, but you could see it was a fake out, and that gave us 3, right? So if this is 3 here, maybe we can get 3 there, right? So there's really not much else. Let's look around and let's see what we see here. Let's look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, we had a 3-wave move. You could see like maybe an A or a W, or actually you could say 3 down, you could say 3 up and 3 back down. Or if it's a A, B, and C, I mean, you can look at it like that too. Basically, it's a 3. And then we had this pop to the upside, right? We got back up to here, and now we're pulling back. So it's okay that we're pulling back here, but we want it to flag out, right? So this is a pretty steep little drop here. I'm curious to see what Bitcoin dominance is doing. I'm sure it's not too good. Well, it actually looks pretty decent. You know, you had a little bit of a pop here. So Bitcoin dominance is coming back a little bit. But let's go back to Bitcoin real quick. We'll look at the other charts. So yeah, this one's a tough one because, well, not really tough. I mean, we're basically consolidating. You can see we're in this big range right in here, right? And you can see we kind of broke out of it. We broke below it, right? So it's kind of just, you know, consolidating. And the idea here is to see if we can get this to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's go up for 5, and then get a 3-way pullback. That would be really cool if we could get that. Or if we can see some kind of 3-wave pullback right in here without going too far below. We really want to stay above 116.5K. But you can see we're dumping right now. So we're still dumping. So let's look around. So for example, THETA, right? Remember, we were looking at THETA. We didn't really like it too much because it just didn't have that nice looking shape to it, right? It does have a little bit of a 3-way pullback. Shape's not that good. So basically, one of the ideas was you have 3 down, you have 3 up, and now you're getting maybe 5 down or maybe 3. We'll see. And basically, that is going to be your 3-way move. And then you go up. So I think that should be the better option. If we can hold in here, it could be like a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. We kind of go sideways, but we'll have to see if that forms. But right now, if you wanted to look at super bullishly, it could be like a 1-2, like a 1-2, 1-2. We're 1-2ing in here. We're revving up to break out. That could also be a case. So this could be a trap. And instead of it being A, B, C, it's kind of like 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we trap. But so what do I think? You know, it's not really helpful. You say up or down. How is that helping? Well, it's helping because the overall direction should be up, right? We should expect it. That's when we zoom out, right? If it's not helping, then we zoom out. And when we zoom out, it's much more clear. And to me, this right here is the area we got to break. And I believe we will break it. But you could see we came from all the way down here, all the way up here, and now we're pulling back right there. So if we can flag out and pull back a little bit like that zoomed in ABC we just looked at, then I am of the opinion that we can break out of there. That's what I believe. That's how I'm looking at it. So until then, we have to just kind of wait in here. And this is all normal price action. We'll look at the weekly as well. But you could see, you know, there's your little zone right there. But you could see that this could be, let me pull this up. You know, you have a B right there, and then we're going to pull down for C. See, that doesn't look so bad, does it? It doesn't look too bad at all. So, and this could be your like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can break out for 5 and get way out of there, you know, and then maybe at some point we could back test it. But the main thing is fixing this correction and busting out of there. And it's good that it's correcting now. We don't want Mondays to be bullish. We want them to be bearish, because if you normally, the way I've noticed the week kind of going is you'll have Sunday be bearish, Monday be bearish, but yesterday Sunday was okay. So that's probably why we're being exceptionally bearish more today. And then Tuesday's kind of just kind of flat, maybe a little bit of a bounce, nothing too exciting. Wednesday's where it starts getting a little bit more exciting, and then Thursday's where you see a big pop, and then even into Friday. Saturday it cools off, and then Sunday it starts all over. Now that's not the way it's going to go. All right, that's just the way I've kind of noticed it for a while. So we'll see if that continues. But don't assume, well, since it's Monday, it's going to do this. Since it's Tuesday, it's no. We cannot assume that. But that's just how it's been lately. So what I'm saying is it's good for it to come down on Monday. Because here's the big part. And I did put a video out yesterday, but the video just did not want to upload. It just took so long to upload, and then by the time it was already like 2 o'clock in the morning. I said, forget it, it's already complete, you know, I might as well just do another video. And one of the things I said in that video was the weekly candle having to come back down. You could see here's the wick, right? And so before this candle, that candle wasn't even there. That candle was not there. So I'm going to make it disappear. And basically, I said, well, we have this wick here. So the previous candle can come down and retest 50% of that wick, right? So, you know, just like these two candles right here are basically any candle, right? So if you take let me take this arrow again. So here's the candle. It closed, right? It closed right there on Sunday, and then Monday it opened, or Monday, well, Sunday night it opened. Monday morning you could see it dipped down, right? You see that wick right there. You could see the wick right there. And those wicks a lot of time come in the beginning of the week to retest this lower part of the wick, and then by the midweek we're starting to grow. And then by the time that the candle closes, it's way up here. So that could be also the reason. Same thing. You see all these wicks on the bottom? Like right here, we closed right here on Sunday, Monday morning, and then we dropped all the way down. But then we came all the way back up towards the end of the week, and then we closed the end of the week up here. Same thing with this candle. So every Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, I mean, it really depends. It could also open here and then pump Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then come all the way back down on Thursday. I mean, it really depends, but lately I've been seeing it the way I've been describing it. So, which is, you can even see it right here, right? The candle closed on Sunday, and then Monday morning, you could see it wicks down. I don't know if that's a Monday morning. It could be a Wednesday afternoon. I'm just saying, typically in the beginning of the week, you can see it does that. So what's happening here is that this candle doesn't have to end this way. It's red right now, but it could start to pump up like this. Here, let me change this to green. So it could start to pump up like this, right? And then all of this is like a wick at the bottom. And then that's how it could play out, right? So we don't know, but that's typically what we've been seeing here. So because I do believe that this week we will come back up and test the top of that line. So that's at 20. Oh, I'm looking at the market cap. That's 204 billion. So let me go back to the price. That would be about 346. And that's pretty high up there. So I think we can do it this week, is go back up to 350, 346. Now, if this is a reversal, we could talk about that as well. Meaning, this is a reversal, meaning that this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Three-way pullback, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Three-way pullback, 1, 2. It's going to reverse. You're getting a reversal. Now, why would it be a reversal? We broke through all the retracement levels. Well, that's true. But here's the problem. It could still be a flat, unfortunately. That's why trading is hard. It's not easy, it's hard. So a lot of people, oh, it's so easy. I could do it all day. Yeah. Where's your Lambo at? Where's your 10 Ferraris at? Oh, you don't have them? Oh, I guess it ain't that easy then. If it was easy, everybody would be rich, and it's just not the case. So that's why you can't go all in when you're trading. Now, if you're an investor, like most of you are probably not trading, you're probably buying and holding, which is very smart. The smartest thing you can do is just buy and hold and wait, right? Don't try to think about it. Just buy and hold and wait. So it could be a flat, meaning we have 3 waves down. 3 waves down. We have 3 waves up. And now we're going to get 3 waves back down. Or it could be 5, depending if it's an ABC or WXY. So hopefully it would be 3, just 3 like this, right? And then a continuation. And that would be a WXY. It'd be a running flat. It would be a much more complex correction, right? So corrections could be also Fibonacci's. A Fibonacci sequence, right? A Fibonacci sequence is, fractals within fractals, right? So this started off as 3, but then it turned into a bigger 3. And this was 3, and then this was 3, and then this was 3, and that turned into a bigger 3. And if this is 3 and this is 3, then it could turn into a bigger 3. See, that's the Fibonacci sequence. How big should it get? Well, it shouldn't be much bigger than our wave 2 if it's in the same degree, which it is. So that's why I believe that this should be the bottom, right? But again, we're in a very dangerous spot. Very, very dangerous spot. You can say, why? We broke through all the Fibonacci levels. We got to break above the, like BCB likes to talk. The problem with that is you don't know. We could totally break through the 702, the 786, everything. But it could still come all the way back down because it could be a flat. Look what happened over here. Same thing would happen over here. If I pull up my fib levels right here, you could see right here, we broke above the 702, the 78. Look at that. We broke right above it. All right. And we were in the clear. We were even above the one. I mean, we actually, but look, we made it to a target. So that could have been it. There's no guarantee that it's going to go even higher than that. So what happened? We crashed all the way down because it turned into a bigger correction, right? So if we take this and put it right there, you can see, very interestingly, a lot of people put it right there, and that's, the top to the bottom. But if this was a flat, which it was, then you can actually put this down here, because the correction, the wave ended here, not here. This was a correction that broke the high, right? So, but look what happened, though. We made it all the way to the 1618. Look at that. So it could be done. It could be over with. Now, I don't think it's over with. I wouldn't see why it would be. We don't have 5 waves. We don't, we're not there yet. So another option could be that this is not finished yet. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up. And guess what? Even if we got that 5 up, it could still be a flat. We could still come back down like this. It could still be 3, 3, because this would be A, B, C, and then 3 down and then go up, which would totally suck, right? So that's why hopefully we can stay above this line, stay above the backtest line right here, above $3, and continue our ascent. But I'm not really worried about what it's doing right at the moment. It's just kind of consolidating. So, we could see lower prices, but let's keep looking here. So, like, for example, like ADA looks finished. You had 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you had 5 waves, right? The issue, though, with ADA was, where's your 3-wave pullback? We never got one. So you could look at it like that, but it just doesn't look right to me. So what makes more sense is this is 3, this is 3, and now we're going to get 5 or 3. And that becomes your ABC. Or this could be 3 up, we get 3 down, and then we pop the high, 3, and we get a bigger 3, and then we get 5 down, then go up. And it becomes a better looking shape for a 3-wave pullback, because you want a nice pullback. Because why do you want a nice pullback right here? Well, because this is the resistance, and when you break above that resistance, you're going to want to have a lot of momentum. You're going to want to have high octane fuel. You're going to want to have it's like, 2 boxers fighting, and one of the boxers gets to rest for a minute or 2 minutes. The other boxer gets to rest for 10 minutes, right? So which boxer you think is going to have the advantage? The one that rested for 10 minutes. Because when he starts punching, it's going to be a lot bigger, right? So if we had an A, B, C right there, that would be a perfect place to have it. And then we pop up, we get back up to here, and now you're in the most dangerous place in the chart, which is right in those retrace levels. Because now what you just did is you created a 3-wave move. You created a bigger 3-wave move here, right? So we have 3 waves down, and we have 3 there and 3 there. So this whole thing is 3 waves right there. So that could be W. This whole thing go up even further, and it could be an X, and then we can come all the way down for a Y, and it can be even much bigger. This is on the zoomed out approach. And this is the one where I don't think it's going to turn into a more complex wave, meaning something like that. I don't think so. I don't believe so, based off where everything is at, like Bitcoin. So we already looked at Bitcoin. So, you know, it's definitely still dumping. It's a little bit, it's a little bit gut wrenching. You want to hold the line, but you don't want to dump too far. So let's keep looking here. So like if I look at SHIB, it looks like a disaster. Well, not a disaster, but it looks bad. It looks bad. Because I don't have a three-wave shape. I don't have anything. I suppose that's three waves there, right? And I guess you could say this is three waves here, but it's real shallow. So 3, 3, and I guess this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be a fast move down. I guess you could say that. And if that's the case, you could say a 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, and then A, B, C, 2. So we could still have more downside here. You could say, well, it's not really helpful. But the point is, once this is finished, we want to break out of there. And that's what I think is happening. Because when you zoom out further than this, you can see a very beautiful structure here. And so you have an A, a B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a C. So this should be basing, and we should be retracing. Now, if it was really bad, this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5, and it's truncated. The fifth wave is truncated. And you do have 5 waves here. So it could be a truncated wave. And which would mean that this would be A, and now we're going to go up for B, and then come down for C later on. But I don't believe that. I don't think that's the case. So I could be wrong, though. This is not financial advice. I could be wrong. But let's keep browsing around here. So we looked at THETA. It's definitely dumping. So you look at near. Like, this is all nice, but it's very corrective. And the reason why is because it's trying to fight through all of these resistance levels. So it's all typical, right? So when you pull back and you move back up, where does it happen? It happens right at the retrace level, right? Because here's point A, point B, and here's point C. And look what happened in point C, right? You could have flagged out and broke out, or you could have dumped to the downside. So you could see we were bottlenecking. And I think this is going to be a fake out, because a lot of times you could see we were bottlenecking in here. Boom, 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 boom. And typically bottlenecks break to the opposite, to the side that they're necking into. But you can see we came down, so you can look at this as a flat. So if we can back test and hold this level, then we could start making our way back up here. And that's kind of what I think. But if we go too far, I could still think something along those lines. So that's what I'm thinking here. So if I zoom in, we could be almost done here. We fell quite a bit. So, let's see. We got like 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like a wave 5. If you're trading it, you got bullish divergence here on the 5-minute. So if you're scalping or whatever, it's not too bad of a spot. And you got support right in here. You basically just took out all of these stops right? That's engineered liquidity right there. So they did that for a reason, right? So they took the high, they took out all of these stops, they took the high, and then they slammed it down, took out all of these stops, they took the low. See how they did that? So, and that's why I don't trade typically on Sundays or Mondays, because it's very difficult to gauge because there's always some kind of shenanigans, right? And when you zoom out, it's really not too bad of a shenanigan. You can see three, and maybe we're getting 5, and it becomes a nice impulse or a move up, 3-way pullback. Let's go. So Trump, yeah, that one just doesn't look good. Sorry, Trump, you're not looking so good. Ethereum. Now, Ethereum looks like a disaster. I mean, not a disaster. It looks scary. It looks like it needs a correction. So we could be correcting here for a little while, unfortunately. Because look, we had a big move, big correction. We have a big move. What comes next? We could probably see something like this. How long did that thing take? It took a while. Let's see. Bars pattern. You're looking at like almost October just to get back up above that high. Or better yet, it'd be more like September. So this could literally take a month or two where we're at right now. And the reason I say that is because look where we're at on the big chart here. This is zoomed out, right? I mean, look at all of those years down there. That's a lot of years, right? So what's happening is we have all of this right in here. Resistance, you can see the bottom of that right there, right there. I don't know what's wrong with my... There we go, and you have all of this right in here. Look at that. So if we just look at it like this, you can see right where the price is. Let me get rid of that. So we stabbed our zone, right? Still, it's very bullish. Very bullish. Now, when you zoom in, it looks like it needs some help. So this sharp move up could go up a little bit higher, but I would expect it to flag out. We would want it to flag out because you want as much rest as you can before you go for the big move, right? So this yellow area represents all-time high, price discovery, full-on bull mode. But before you enter the ring, you want to be rested. You want to be hydrated. You want to be in good shape. And where are we in good shape? No. Why? Because we started way down here. We started way, way down here. We ran like 10 miles just to get to the ring. So you got to give us a couple days, a couple weeks to rest so that when we fight, we could fight like we know how to fight, right? So obviously using like boxing analogies for this chart here, but we do have 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 3 waves back down. And that alone, this 3-wave alone took over a year. We have a very sharp impulse back to the top. So it would make sense that, you could even get like a shoulder, inverse head and shoulders right here before breaking out. Because if we broke out like this week, that's okay, but then it's going to be short-lived. You're not going to go far. You're only going to get to like the second round, right? Before you collapse. And backtest. And if we could backtest for a couple weeks, maybe months before going up, that would be okay too. So Yeah. I mean, there's really no evidence that the top is in yet here, except the smaller time frames look pretty cooked. Now, it could still be a flat. For example, we have 1, 2, all right, and then we have 1, 2, 3, and this is A, this is B, and this is C, which I really, really like. 3, 4, and then we go up for our fifth wave, and then that's when we actually break that line, right? Which is fine. Break the line, and then you kind of have your bigger correction at a higher level. So that's really it for everything. Let's check out XRP versus Bitcoin. So XRP versus Bitcoin, you shot straight up. It wouldn't surprise me if you get something like that before going higher. So all in all, everything's good. I just, probably gonna have to correct here a little bit. I don't have a complete correction. It just seems to me that it would do this. So we could expect downside this week. Now, if we wanted to be bullish this week, how could we do it? Under what circumstance? Well, if you look at like HBAR, HBAR could be like you have a 3-way pullback. This looks like 3 waves up, this would be 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, 4, and then we go up in 5. So there's 3, right? And then there's 5, and then you get a bigger 3 later on. But that's going to create more of a rounding top. So what would be better is if this was 3 and then this was 3 and we had more of a base up here. So let's look a little bit closer. Let's look at something else here. Yeah, see, everything looks like that, right? So I'm bearish right now. I think we need something like that before up. I'm bullish, so I'm bullish macro, I'm bullish long term, but short term, I'm bearish, at least for right now. But this wave came down quite a bit, so don't be surprised, if tomorrow's Tuesday, we could pump all the way back up here tomorrow, or even Wednesday, Thursday before coming down. It just depends, right? But the big thing is, let's look at XLM. Yeah, see, that's the issue. This just looks corrective. So, you can make money going down. You don't have to make money always going up. You can short it, right? But yeah, XLM, you got, that looks like 3 there. And then you have 3, and then maybe 3, and then maybe we go up in 5, and that could be 3 there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's kind of what it would look like. And that could take, that wouldn't take too long, but it would be maybe the first or second week of August. We do have the monthly candle coming up pretty soon as well. So that's a big deal, right? So we have 3 days left. So all we have to do, guys, for XLM, we'll look at XRP and everything else, but we have to close. I can't do too long of a video because it just doesn't upload. I'm doing this all through my phone, so I have to keep YouTube running in the background, and then my phone shuts off, and then I have to open the app again. It's ridiculous. It used to be where I could just put my phone away and it could just keep uploading. But anyway, we have, as long as we close above that, by the end of the month, we're in really good shape. Now for XRP, so we want to close above $3. So In the next 3 days, we got to close above $3, and right now we're at 313. So, and then for total 3, wow, total 3 could be a close one. It could be a very close call. So technically at the moment, we're above it. You know, we're looking at that green candle. And I'll just put one here. And then we'll zoom in to the weekly. And look at the weekly candle. So the weekly candle actually is retesting that order block right there. So interesting. Ethereum, yeah, the weekly looks fine. You could see could be testing some of this wick in here. The 2-week chart's coming to an end, and the doji, or the monthly. So the monthly looks pretty good too. So let me get rid of that. So all we got to do for Ethereum on the monthly chart is just close above these 2 closes in the next 3 days. So let's see if we could do that. That's a really good step, because you know it looks really good actually on this time frame. And then also we want to close above this line, this downward resistance line, and then we would technically be closing above the triangle. Or I mean, not the we would be closing above the supply line, right? You could see how much steeper this one was back over here. So if it was a triangle, then it would be like A, B, C, D, and then we would get E and then go up. But that would also suck. Every other monthly candle is looking good. I mean, that's a nice candle there. You know, look at Bohm. Bohm has got this little base. It's currently above it, so it's kind of, you know, just kind of consolidating there a little bit. Monero, you know, I really thought Monero would be either finishing its correction or doing something. It's been really, really slow for Monero, but the monthly looks okay. I mean, despite all these dojis up there, though. So it just seems to me like either this is boom, 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 or this is going to be 3. So you got 3, 3, and then 3, and then something like that. And then theta. So the monthly candle on theta looks great. You have a bullish engulfing monthly candle. So it looks great. XDC also looks really good. So all of the monthly candles look pretty decent. So we shall see how this week unfolds. So again, just to recap real fast, what I'm looking for is not that chart. I'm looking for Bitcoin to hold this line in here. And I'm looking for, let's go to XRP. I'm looking for some support to hold in here, because I don't feel like it's just going to break down. You know, we do have 3 waves. So I want to see how it reacts down here, because I want to see if this is going to turn into 3. So if this is 3 and this is 3 and then we go up in 3 and it becomes a bigger 3, then we have 3 down, 3 up, and then you would expect something like that, which is totally on the table, which actually makes a lot of sense too. You know, all we're asking for is this right here. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, it's really not that bad when you look at the grand scheme of it. But yeah, something like that. So, and then for theta, same thing, something like that. So, anyways, we'll see how it plays out. And if we do dump really hard, then we still have that 3-wave shape. So, and we have all of the support down here. So let's see how it unfolds. So anyways, not financial advice. I will catch you guys on the next one. And also, be on the lookout for a members video sometime this week. And yeah, we'll see you then. So I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.